Welcome, 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 world, echo, 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 echo. How are you guys doing today? So glad to see you this Friday, the 12th, 11th of December. Ooh, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks till the end of the month here. So excited to be with you. My name is Andrea Lyons. I'm the host this week of Shiz and Giggles. It is our weekly time that we sit down with our team and talk about nothing. It's like Jerry Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. Actually, it's what we do in the office anyway, Friday at 3 o'clock, because I kind of have a rule about my attention span being gone by 3 p.m. on Friday. So if you want anything serious to happen, the team already knows you got to catch me before this time every Friday. So I'm not going to do the show by myself. I'm doing it here with some of our team members. Let's see. Let's bring in the one and only. She's a consummate professional, force of nature. She is an associate producer here at All About Presentation. It is the one, the only, Ms. Jasmine Williams. Hey, Jess.
Hey, JJ.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Today's Friday. I feel like this week was a long week. So I'm really trying to #finish strong for this week. So we'll see. We'll see. Hanging in there. Hanging in there. It's 4 p.m. So, got a little more time.
Joining us, we have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. She's been with us since September PC, pre-corona. New time period. People, it's a new time. She's with us since September PC. That is a wonderful person. Hey, if you follow us on social media, guess who you really should be cheering for? This girl right here. Her name is Sarah. Say, Sarah, welcome, welcome, welcome.
I can't stop laughing at Jasmine. Your face when Andrea was giving the intro, you're like, and I just caught that, and now I'm in a very happy, funny mood. But hi guys, I'm Sarah. I'm Sarah, aka at All About Presentation, aka at BA Event Planner, aka Andrea Lyons on everything else. But happy Friday, everyone.
Also does a bang up job. Can we just talk about that? Way to go.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
She was telling me about guides this week, Instagram guides this week, and reels and other stuff I don't know about.
Everything, all of it.
Well, let's kick this show off. We got a great show for you all. It's been a wonderful week. But one of the things that I'm responsible here at All About Presentation, and for those of you who don't know, All About Presentation is an event production company right now. Hey, listen, we are specializing in virtual events. We do both in-person and virtual events, but we are a multi-million-dollar company that has been built since 2007. So it's a project we've been working on for quite a long time. So one of the things that I'd like to do is to talk about with the team. Today's topic is finish strong. Finish strong. So we want to finish strong. All right, Jazz, you first. When I say, hey, Jasmine, finish strong, what does that mean to you?
When you say finish strong, to me that means I gotta push. I gotta push through. I feel like that I hear finish strong, I think of a race. So I think of when you're running. I don't know if everybody runs, but I like to run on a treadmill. So it's like when you're running on the treadmill and they're like, finish strong. And I'm like over here huffing, like, I can't. But I keep going because I actually listened to something the other day, and it said you're only telling yourself what your head is saying. So your body's doing whatever your head is saying. So I'm trying to tell my head, finish strong, so my body can push through. So that's what I think about, me running on a treadmill when you say finish strong.
That's actually a really great example, because when you are working out and you do, with that last 5 minutes. Now, listen, I'm not a marathon runner. Usually.
On a good day, maybe.
Right. On a good day, I might be. But what's interesting is it's always that last push that's the hardest, right? It is that concept of like, I've always heard like at mile 22, that's when like it all falls apart for marathoners. It's like you will it into existence that last 4 miles. I think that's the same for pretty much everything. I think that's the same for this situation we're in right now with the pandemic and everything we have going on. One of the things that I've noticed is that towards the end of um, like anything hard, it's always darkest before dawn. Always. So to me, that's what finish strong means for me. But one of the things that Sarah and I were talking about recently, relatively recently, we talked about giving ourselves like false false finish lines. So, Sarah, tell me a little bit about your false finish lines when you have set yourself a timeline for a false finish. When you have set for yourself a finish line that doesn't really exist in real life, but it's a way to make sure that you kind of make sure you finish and get to the end. Tell me about one of your false finish lines.
Okay, my false finish line. I feel like I have a million false finish lines when it comes to school, because it's like, or maybe not just school, but just in life in general, it's kind of like all about pacing yourself, and like you said, setting those like boundaries that may not be, what's the word, permanent yet, or like may not be the final one, but it's just like a way to help you like kind of like baby steps for it. So for me, for an example, oh, that's a really good question, Andrea. Wow.
I know. I'll tell you what it comes up for, and I'll come back to you. But like it comes up because we're getting to the end of a year, and it's like people are like, "Oh, we only have 2 weeks left," and it's like I always kind of warn people that just because January 1st hits doesn't mean it's a new like we're on
100%.
coronavirus thing right now.
Literally, I think it's a false finish line. It's kind of like the pre to the new. Like I heard a lot of people saying, I can't wait till January 2021. Like life isn't going to go back. It's not going to just like reset that day. I mean, it's still like the next day to yesterday and the new day before the tomorrow. So like that is still the same. It's just, I guess, this ambiance of it. Like it's a new year and people may see it as literally a new blank page. But I guess you're right. It is a false finish, or maybe a false finish and a false start line too, because you're still alive like you were yesterday. So it's a continuum,
And I love them though. I am like a huge supporter of false finish lines. I mean, you do it when you lose weight, right? You say, tomorrow, starting tomorrow, I'm not going to eat carbs, right? And that's a finish line. So today is your finish line. So, whether it's, whether it's a false one for the rest of this year or not, that's just one of the things that we have to look at as our false finish line. So tip number one for everybody watching, if I were going to give a finish line to somebody, it would be that use this year, December 31st, as a false finish line. Say, all right, I'm going to push through until December 31st. Whether I know it's like really trying times right now with so many pressures and constraints that we normally wouldn't have, but let's use December 31st as a false finish line so that whatever we're working on, just keep in mind, all right, I'm pushing through to December 31st. Then it makes everything not seem so big and hard and never ending, which is really what we get into when we talk about, finishing strong. How do you finish strong in something that feels never ending? To Jasmine, how do you finish strong in something that seems never ending? Besides, we can set ourselves a false finish line, but are there other things that, as you've just kind of gone through this experience here at this company, what are other things you've kind of picked up along the way that help you to finish strong?
They call us event planners, and we forget to unmute our mics still too. Happens to the best of us. I would say one thing is piggybacking off of the false finish line, but having my own little markers. I would say for because I definitely feel like this is going to be an ongoing year going to 2021. I feel like it's still going to be like 2020 continue type of thing. So I feel like setting my own markers of okay, at this point, that's going to be my finish line for XYZ. At this point, that's going to be my finish line for XYZ. So creating my own markers and not letting the end of the year define my marker. So me defining my own marker, not letting the year define my marker. I like that, Jasmine. That's a good one.
Preach.
And then, so I would definitely say that. That's all I got off the top of my head. But I like that note. I'm gonna jot that down in my note. I'm probably texting to somebody. They're gonna be like, "Well, that's good."
It is good. It is really good. What about you, Sarah? What are some things that, as you have kind of encountered your time here, what are things that help you to finish strong?
Some things that help me remember is to just remember like the beginning, like especially for me, I just hit like I'm about to hit my 1 year as an official like full like intern. So just reflecting on like where I was a year ago, like sometimes when you're at the finish line at the point that we are right now, you kind of get maybe sometimes stressed and overwhelmed with like all the changes and everything that you've like carry throughout like the year, however many years you've had. But I think I always remind myself, like when I first started this job, I remember the day I interviewed and how excited I was and how I wanted this so badly and for the growth. So I think about that. I think about like how I started, why I started, and that definitely keeps me going. That's with everything in my life.
I love that. I think that's so important. You remember the why. Why are we doing this? Why is this important? I think that's so critical to keep in front of you because sometimes you get Jasmine has something to say. Okay, Jazz, hit it.
I was piggybacking off of what you said. Well, agreeing with everything you said, Sarah, because I feel like sometimes that gets lost when hardness comes upon you. When something gets hard, you forget why you're doing it in the first place. And we think back of think back of. I think this is probably the number one thing that a lot of us think of is like, what was the objective?
Why am I here again?
Okay, what was the objective?
Literally.
What was the objective? And how can you get to that? You want to still meet that objective. For us, it's what did our clients want? What do they want? How can we get them there? How can we finish off this project to the caliber that they anticipate it to be? Especially when things get hard, you get those obstacles, those hurdles that come into your way. If I'm going back to the track analogy or the runner analogy, you get those hurdles that come your way. So think back of, I'm doing this because of this. I need to remember that as I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And I know earlier today, Andre we were talking about your why, your purpose. That's what made me think of that. I was like, oh, I love when people talk about that. Like, oh, what is your why? Why are you here? What are you doing this for? I love hearing other people's because it just like motivates. It just motivates you, and it's like, yeah, like you said, Sarah, it like brings it full circle, especially when people are like, well, I wanted to do this, and then and it's like, but what's your why? And it's like, oh, I just love, and then it's like, there you go, you just said it.
It's
You said it for yourself.
Yeah.
So I just love hearing that.
Okay, so what I've heard is tips to finishing strong. 1, create a false finish line. 2, only define your own finish line and don't let other people define what that finish line is for you. And 3, remember your why, right? So those are the tips for finishing strong. Create a false finish line. Say we're going to go here and this is what we're going to do and we're going to push hard till we get to this date, this time period, this month. And then define what that is for yourself. And again, number 3, what was number 3? Why? Remembering your why. I love it. So those are great. Really, really, really great tips. One of the things that I'm going to bring up in finishing strong is I think that, and I really believe you become stronger when you're tried by fire. And so what finishing strong does, just like in working out, And just like in running a marathon, or just like in all the things that we do that are the hard things, as Jasmine said, they're the hard things. It's the part where you have to dig deep, and it's not going to be easy. And you know it going in, that you're going to have to pull from a place that, maybe you're not accustomed to. So, Jasmine, I'm going to ask you, or maybe I'll start with Sarah. Either one of you go. You guys you'll figure this out. When you have to dig deep and you have to go into that place of like, I got to make it, I just have to make it. What do you do? What are some of your rituals that you do that get you to that place where I'm going to need a deeper well to pull from?
Ooh. Okay, that dig a little deeper reminded me of that one song from Princess and the Frogs, like dig a little deeper. No one knows that. Okay, never mind. I'm alone.
I don't remember that one.
Wow. See, it's just a fail. I guess ways for me. Oh, that's a really good one. Dig a little deeper.
Do you have a song?
I know. I'm about to say.
No, I was going to say, like, I try to just reconnect with like my inner self, like whether that's like I'll just start asking like people random question. I feel like when you ask questions or when you just start conversations, you end up getting something from it. So like sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for something deeper, it's like I'm just having conversations and I'm just going back and just literally digging through everything and until I find what I want, if that makes sense.
I love that. I love that, Sarah. What it reminds me of is you have to become centered with yourself. And I love that. You have to be centered in order to find like what you need to do next. How do you find that other pool of energy?
Yeah. Jasmine?
I would say for me, everyone I feel like knows in the office already. There have been those times where you have those long nights and you're like, oh my God, I need to push through. I need to finish this. I don't know about you all, but I listen to the Hamilton playlist.
Oh my God. Why? I'm so surprised.
It just like, it does something for, I don't know what it is. If you haven't watched Hamilton, please do. If you don't have the opportunity to watch it, please listen to the playlist. The beats, it motivates me.
Sing one. Yes, drop a beat for us. Drop a beat for us.
No, I won't sing it. But I will. It's the beat for me. It has to be something that I would say if I'm even listening to any song, it's the upbeat music for me that gets me going. I feel like with something that I don't feel like finishing, I have to augment it with something that I like. So whether that is like doing my work and listening to bomb music, or do my work and maybe watching a good video while I'm doing it, do my work and eating a nice snack with it. Like I have to augment it with something that I like. But that Hamilton playlist, top number one.
Let me tell you that one time, Sarah, do you remember when Jasmine said to us, she said, this Hamilton, these beats go hard.
It's the way she said it. It's like she was so serious. She said,
these beats go hard in Hamilton. What?
And when Jasmine, if you ever hear Jasmine bang on something, it's that just confirms everything.
Oh my God. She was so that serious. Is her serious. But it's interesting you mentioned you gotta have to take something like broccoli and you have cheese with it. Right. So you're it's almost the same thing, but just in life, if there's something that I can pair with this to make it not so rough for me, then I want to pair the smooth with that, the smooth with the rough. Right. So, all right. So as we round the corner here on our time, I got one hard question for all of you.
Oh my gosh.
We have about 3 weeks left. And if you had to talk to somebody and tell them the reason they shouldn't give up, what's the reason they shouldn't give up? I'll go last, but why don't you give up? Why are we going to finish strong? All right. Jasmine's ready. Okay.
So I tell myself, and I'm a spiritual person, so I tell myself I can't give up because God didn't give up on me. So it's like during especially this time, a lot of people are making it to the end of 2020. So I told myself I can't give up because God didn't give up on me. So I earned him that at least that and more, but at least that, because there's so much more out for me. So I can't give up because he ain't give up on me yet. When he probably could have and should have, but he didn't.
What about
That
you,
is
Sarah?
so good. Okay. Mine is actually, it's a little bit deep, but I'm gonna try to make it like surface level. So for me, wow, I really just forgot what I was gonna say. No, it's back, it's back, it's back. Okay, so for me, I remind myself that I can't give up because I feel like the term you've been through so much worse or you've been through so much harder is so relevant because I can remember I'm only 23 years old, but I can remember the hardest moment in my life, in my 23 years of life, and comparing that to like, say, if I want to give up now, if I didn't give up then during that hardest moment, then I have no reason to give up now. So just like, again, remembering like where you came from and how you started, and you just can't give up. Like you literally can't. The sacrifices that were made for you to be in this position. I think about people who didn't get to get the opportunities that I have, or people who aren't even here today, whether XYZ reason. So you can't give up because there's just so much more to take and enjoy. So push through, guys. Push through.
Push through, push through. All right. So here's my answer why you shouldn't give up. You'll win if you don't quit. You will win.
True.
You will win if you don't quit. I promise you that. I would bet every dollar in my bank account that that is a true statement, and it's true for us. It's true for me. It's true for you. You will win if you don't quit. If we can be vulnerable about all about presentations last, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 month journey. We started this year, and I've told everybody this story, but I'll tell you because you probably haven't heard it. We started this year with hubris. This one, hubris. That's a Greek word for overconfident. Okay. So we started this year overconfident in that we were sold out at the beginning of the year. And then boom, coronavirus hit, and nobody can meet, and nobody can event, and nobody can do all these things. In a matter of 6 to 8 weeks, we had to figure out a whole new model. And what I told people was, and I told people at the time, it's so very difficult because when you're a startup, you don't have you don't have the same obligations, right? This was like being a startup in March and April. It was like being a startup and having all the obligations that I have now. So rent, like when I started, I didn't have rent and employees and salaries and payroll and all these things we pay for. None of that. I didn't have that when we started, but now I have it. It's almost like starting from a deficit as a startup. So you start from a negative and then you have to make your way positive. And I always will remember one of my favorite preachers said, "You will win if you don't quit." And so my motto is stick in it, stay in it. Andrea, you will win if you don't quit. And people who quit, that's the reason they lose, is because they've stopped trying. So for all of you listening, I don't care if it's one person, the people that are work for me, the people that don't work for me, the people that want to work for me, we're hiring. All of you, I just want to tell you, you will win if you don't quit. So never, ever, 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 ever give up. Never give up. Never give up. Okay. So that is why you finish strong. So you take everything you got left and you finish this year like the brilliant person that you are because you can do it. All right. So that's my word for all of you folks. That is my encouragement to all of you. And now, if you look at us now versus back in March, we're doing things at a level that I never expected. And I mean, we are beating our sales goals beyond 2019, 2018 numbers. We're hitting all of our targets, crushing it. The team is crushing it. but I never thought it was possible. But as the leader of the team, as the leader of your family, as the leader of your households, trust me when I tell you, you will win if you don't quit. Okay, so don't ever give up. You can do this. Give yourself a deadline, not to quit, but you're giving yourself a deadline of I'm going to push to this far and then I'm going to regroup and figure out a new finish line. I'm going to make it to December 31st and then I'm going to regroup for the first of the year. And then I'm going to make it to January 30th and I'm going to regroup. 30 days has been able to 31st. I'll make it to January 31st and then I'm going to regroup. Okay. The race is not to the swift, all right, but to she who endures to the end. All right. So just remember that. Trust me when I tell you that it works every time. I love you all so much. I love you, Jasmine. I love you, Sarah. Besos, besos. We love you out there in AAP land. We love you so much. We will see you here next week. Oh, Wednesdays at 2. You can join me here for F If I Know. That's my podcast that I do, F If I Know. Join me right here, Wednesdays at 2. And then on Fridays, we'll be here again, Fridays, 4 o'clock for Shiz and Giggles. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.